Good morning, thanks for tuning in. It's Christine Crutcher from Create with Christine, and I am here with a Tea and Techniques episode this week. So happy to have you here, whether you're going to join me live here in a minute or catch the replay. So today I'm actually doing a technique I've done before, but it works so well with the Sale-A-Bration stamp set, Awesome Otters, that I had to feature it again this week. I'm actually using two products from Sale-A-Bration. So if you have the little catalog in front of you, it's this one through February 28th, 2022. Happy February. Hard to believe we already have a whole month of the year gone by. But I'm actually using the Sunshine and Rainbows paper, which is 6x6. It's on page 8 of the Sale-A-Bration brochure. And then I'm using the Awesome Otters, which is on page 11 of the little Sale-A-Bration brochure. So both these items are free with a $50 purchase. You'll see the little medallion there, free with any $50 purchase by February 28th, 2022. So let me show the paper really quick. I like to have these sheets with all the papers. So, and then that was the one I think I just showed. So here's the second one. And then this is the front and then this is the back. So front and back, up and down on all of them. So awesome 6x6 paper. So pretty to spread, sunshine and joy and happiness. So here's my little card we're gonna do today. It's a little birthday card with the Awesome Otters. I had not used this little stamp that has him swimming. So I wanted to feature this week and talk a little bit about Sale-A-Bration since we're in the last month of this round of Sale-A-Bration. There'll be another one coming in the summer. So why don't I just jump right in, because I'm going to do some stamping and talking about the products. I'm going to be using watercolor pencils and the blender pens. So I'm going to point the camera down at my station, find myself in my feed, and we will jump right in. Hey, good morning, Janine. Thanks for tuning in. So I hope you're all having a good week. Unfortunately, that groundhog wasn't wrong. We're definitely going to be in winter, I think, for a few more weeks. It seems like every place in the whole United States has had snow or icy conditions. Here we had a crazy ice. Well, it wasn't that crazy, but like everything shut down pretty much Friday morning. Because we had really icy conditions, tons of accidents on the road. So all the schools were closed, like businesses had people work from home. So anyways, so here's Awesome Otters. Again, here's my card. So let's just jump right in. I'm going to do a bunch of stamping and then show you how I colored him. And then I have a couple other cards with Awesome Otters to show you and some other things to talk about. So I have a lot planned. Yeah, the other otter. I meant to look up, are otters and groundhogs related? Probably not, but Google is your friend. So that's funny. Okay, so I actually have a whole bunch of pieces of basic white that I'm going to stamp on. I actually have 4 in total, but I'll just bring over the 3 smaller ones first. And actually, I put this as a square, but I'm going to do this as a diamond, okay? I started originally, I was going to do a square, and then I switched to kind of like a diamond shape. And I'm going to use Memento for these 2 pieces. So the little tiny one, I don't even think I measured it. I think I did like 1.5 or 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. It's just a little tiny piece of basic white cardstock. And I'm just inking up the little party hat in Memento. And then for the otter, this one in the middle, basic white, is 2 1/4 inch square. And I'm just gonna, whoops, I just touched the stamp with my finger, so let me fix that. Okay, so let's just get him kind of about in the middle. I want room for the hat, so I'm gonna fussy cut the hat out. And while I have the Memento, I'm going to sneak in the larger piece of white. This is for the inside. It's Bermuda Bay, so if I have a darker color on the outside, I'm just gonna do an insert 4 by 5 1/4, or you could do like 3 3/4 by 5 for the inside. So this white one's gonna go on the inside. Okay, so and then on this little tiny piece, so this is gonna be quite a challenge here, I am going to do the sentiment in Pacific Point. And I don't use Pacific Point all that much. So I hope my case was really hard to open yesterday. Okay, got it. First try. So I was playing around with this color. I'm like, this is such a pretty color. I should use it more. Okay. Perfect. So this little tiny piece is 1/2 inch by 2 1/2. And we're going to make it into a little banner. So, I just lost some stamps and an ink pad, so let me grab that really quick. Too much stuff on my table today. Okay, so all my stamping's done. Why don't we just make this a banner while we have it here? I am using the Banners Pick-a-Punch. I know this is really tiny, but it does work. It's just there's going to be really, like, barely any wiggle room. So, oops, and that one didn't come out so great. But one side came out okay, the other side not, so I can fix that later. But I just put a banner in both sides. Like I said, it's a tight measurement, but it does work. Okay, so let me bring these pieces back and talk about how to color these with the watercolor pencils and a blender pen. And I know I have showed this before, but this stamp set is just so cute to not do this technique. All of our line art images, so all the images you can color in. And let me actually bring over the watercolor pencils before I start. So these are just the standard watercolor pencils. And so they're more of the kind of primary colors that you would expect, you know, red, orange, green, yellow, blue. So I picked out the Bermuda Bay, and the Bermuda Bay is in the Sunshine and Rainbows designer paper. So that's how I kind of got that coordination going. And then the Pacific Point for some of the water, obviously. I did some of the water in Bermuda too, and I'll show you. And then, of course, the early espresso for the otter. You probably could do basic gray for the otter as well. So I got my 3 pencils that I picked out. So I'm just going to start with the early espresso. And literally, we're just going to scribble the color on there, on the otter, all the way around. It doesn't have to be pretty. And then I'm going to do kind of like a lighter shade in his tummy area. I did a little bit darker on one side, but that's okay. And then darker for his little nose. And then, why don't I do the Pacific next? I'm just going to add in the drops. Make sure you get all of them. Whoops. Make sure you have sharp pencils too. I did sharpen them after I designed this card yesterday, and I'll show you my pencil sharpener in a second. So I'm just getting some color on here, following kind of where the artist's lines are with the darker Pacific Point. And then, I'm sorry, I'm going to flip around a little bit, and then while I have Pacific Point, I'm just going to do the pom-pom and the little polka dots. I really like this technique with smaller areas, kind of like this. And then I'll just do this really quick. I did some Bermuda in here. And then I just did some Bermuda kind of like in the water. So light lines. I didn't go all the way to the bottom, but he's on the islands in Bermuda. Lucky him. Not where it's icy and cold and snowy right now. But spring is coming. Spring is coming. So I just kind of did a light with my Bermuda. Okay, and I didn't grab some scrap paper. So let me just see if I can use this little guy as some scrap paper over here. For a blender pen, you want to have scrap paper. So because you want to kind of scribble off, I hope you're seeing that. Yeah, you want to scribble off any color that you have on the pens from like a previous project you were working on and scribble in between your colors. So now you're just going to come over and soften. Oh, I picked up a tiny bit of blue there. Soften the scribbles out. Try not to pick up the blue with the brown. That makes a color Stampin' Up! Doesn't make or doesn't have. So now you can kind of come around and soften. I didn't even do like necessarily every little bit. I want them to kind of look furry like an animal, obviously. And then I did some of the blue. The blues, I don't care if they kind of sort of mix because the water, you know, I just kind of sort of blended some of the color and pulled. The thing with the blender pen is you don't want to go over the area too much or it's going to pill the cardstock because this is just basic white. So just spread some of the color around and soften the lines a little bit and call it a day. And then come over, just do the little party hat. And I could totally do the party hat. I stamped on the inside as well with the same technique. But you'll see how quickly it does the small areas. Whoops, I went outside the lines, but that's okay because I'm going to fussy cut this little guy out. Okay, so done. So let me fussy cut really quick. I could have done one earlier, but I did not. I just went right to the memento line to cut this out. And I have another card I did. And I used the same Sunshine and Rainbows Designer Series paper, but I did a flirty version, Flirty Flamingo. So that one came out really cute too. Because if you have the second watercolor pencils, I believe they call it watercolor pencils assortment number 2. That one has Flirty Flamingo in it. So I'm going to show you that after I get this one together. This one's more kind of the blues for kind of like a boy, whereas the Flirty Flamingo could be more for a girl. So let's just get his little party hat on here, little birthday boy otter. I probably used a little bit too much glue, but that's okay. We'll just let it dry. I got some Seal Plus that I am just going to put this onto a Pacific Point. So square on a diagonal again. Don't forget that part. Okay, let's try again. So my white is 2 1/4 and my Pacific Point is 2 1/2. Okay. And then here's the designer paper. Isn't this cute? So one side's got this cute Bermuda pattern, and then the other side had this Flirty Flamingo pattern. So that gave me the idea to do a Flirty Flamingo version as well. So let's just bring over the pieces of my card. I have a card base that's Bermuda Bay, 4 1/4 by 11, scored in half at 5 1/2. And then we're going to put the designer paper right down here at the bottom. So it's a 4 by 3 piece. I don't know if I said that. And I have a new glue, so it's coming out crazy fast. So make sure you kind of have 3 sides equal at the bottom. And then we're going to do a little ribbon piece across the seam. So what I did, This is actually a really cute idea if you are to do a gift card, because you'll be able to tuck the gift card under the ribbon. I have a 10-inch piece of the Flowers for Every Season. This comes in a pack of 3 ribbons. Let me open it up really quick and show you. So there are 3 ribbons in the pack, a white, just jade like gingham, and then a misty moonlight and white trim twine. So I'm using the white ribbon from this pack. So all 3 ribbons come in one pack, Flowers for Every Season. So that's how I picked the ribbon for this. And I am going to put it on the inside and then put my seams in the front. Okay, so I'm going to use glue dots for this and make sure my glue dots go right to my ribbon. And then I'll cover up the seam with my stamped piece. So then I'll show you the inside. My glue dots are a little chilly. Gotta warm them up today. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of follow the seam, overlap these. You could probably even do like a little bit shorter than 10, but kind of make sure that's like that. And then I'm gonna cover up, okay? So I'm just gonna put some glue on the top and the bottom. You could also do dimensionals here of my otter piece. And then see on the inside, you have this ribbon where you could like tuck a little gift card. It's a little birthday card. So obviously you could tuck a gift card or some money or something in there. So a cute idea. And then, of course, I went through like my whole entire stash looking for some sort of embellishment. Even though it's kind of sort of masculine and boyish, I still wanted to add. Oh, and I would put this, I'm going to fix this later to make that banner look a little bit nicer, but I put that there with just a little bit of Seal Plus. And then I found my blue adhesive back gems. And these are Night of Navy and Balmy Blue, but because they're a little bit sparkly and that sort of thing, they seem to go fine with the Pacific Point. At least I think so. So I just grabbed 3 and I put like 2 at the top and 1 at the bottom. But whatever floats your boat, you could add as many as you want. So I'm using the darker. Let me just take it off, slide it off the transfer sheet here. The darker, which would be like Night of Navy. Okay, so that is my card. And I told you that I did a Flirty Flamingo version. So let me show you. Here's the watercolor pencils assortment number 2, and then the colors on the back. So you'll see Flirty Flamingo is kind of the pinker color. So once I saw that the back of this paper was Flirty Flamingo, I made a version Flirty Flamingo in the Pacific Point. So that's that version, kind of more of a girl version. So you kind of have like the girl and the boy versions. So let me know if you're Bermuda Bay or Flirty Flamingo, which one you like better. And then, of course, I used this same stamp set earlier. Well, it was actually last month now. Wow, I was thinking it was this month, but when I did my Sale-A-Bration kickoff, I used the Awesome Otters and the Sunshine and Rainbows paper, the same things, and I had made some of these cards, so I just wanted to show them again to give you some more ideas if you didn't see these. And here's the other one. I had colored the otter with Stampin' blends and crumb cake on these. So I also wanted to show a different way to color with the blender pen and the watercolor pencils. So I want to talk for a few minutes. Actually, let me tell you one thing that's coming up, because some of you have asked, because I did send out my newsletter on Friday with what's going on in February. So I do have a bunch of fun things going on for this month, and one of the things was a BOGO sale. So BOGO is buy one, get one free. And I am starting it this Friday, which would be February 11th, 2022 at noon Eastern. And it's going to run through Monday, February 14th. And I'll let it go till midnight on February 14th, 2022. I have a private Facebook group where I'm running this, and I will put the link below if you would like to join. Some of you already asked me, if you spend $50, can you get a free item? And the answer is yes, during Sale-A-Bration. And if you spend $100, can you get a free item? And the answer is yes for Sale-A-Bration. So with that said, I wanted to go over a couple ideas for you for Sale-A-Bration since we're in the last month. And even though I'm doing BOGO next weekend and it's going to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I still will have a live project here on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. So have no fear for that. But I wanted to talk about bundling some products together and how you get to $50 or how you get to $100 to get your free items. So talking about what I use today, if you purchase the Memento ink pad, the traditional watercolor pencils, the blender pens, and I can't remember now if I said this or not, so I apologize if I'm a broken record. The blender pens come in a set of 3, so you would get them in this little box with 3 inside. A Seal Plus adhesive, everybody needs adhesive, and a liquid glue. That would actually put you at $50 US. So once you're at $50, you could pick a free item. And there are 7 of the $50 free items you can choose for Sale-A-Bration through February 28th, 2022. Now, that's your $50 purchase. Now, if you add your Banner's Pick-a-Punch that I used, and I use this punch all the time, a ink pad of your choosing. I use Pacific Point today, but it would be any of our ink pads that are in our standard color families. Some basic white cardstock, because obviously everybody needs basic white cardstock in their arsenal. I take your pick tool. This is also another one I use all the time. That would bring you to $100.25. So I'm just going to take this out. Yep, that would bring you to, actually, no, I've got to keep it in because this is supposed to be like building like a whole like pile of stuff to show you. So that would bring you to $100.25. Sorry, I'm moving everything around. And then you could pick out 2 of the free $50 items. So that means you could get the stamp set Awesome Otters and the Sunshine and Rainbows paper, or you could get 2 otters or 2 Sunshine and Rainbows papers, or whatever you want for the $50, or you could get 1 of the free $100 levels. So there are 2 items in the $100 levels. So you'll have to look at those and kind of make your choices. And I'm just going to take a sip of tea really quick. There's actually a third choice, and let me grab the catalog really quick. It is actually the best deal in the catalog. It's in every catalog, but it's all the way in the back, and it's always hidden, and that is joining. So, and I know I do talk about it a fair bit, but I did want to talk about it again today, is that if you want it all and your wish list is crazy long, you can put in an initial order. You get to pick out 125. So this was 125 cents. So if you added on the Bermuda Bay Cardstock, the ribbon that I used, you would be at $119. So you have to pick out one thing for $6. And then I chose my $6 item that I chose to feature. I have stuff flying around all over the place today. This is fun. My $6 pick was the Holiday Rhinestones. These are pre-colored for you in 5 colors. I think I used all the Cherry Cobbler ones, every single one. So this is super fun. $125 of items. And that's not all. You actually pay $99 plus tax. You get free shipping. Whereas the first 2 bundles, you have to pay tax and shipping if you live in a taxable state. And plus all this, right now, during Sale-A-Bration, Stampin' Up! Is giving you any 2 free stamp sets. So I just picked 2 that are in my stash that are a little bit more on the expensive side. So Friends Are Like Seashells and Timeless Tropical. A lot of the stamp sets that are in the cling red rubber are a little bit more expensive, and then some of the photopolymer ones are a little bit on the cheaper end. So obviously I'm dreaming about warmer temperatures because I picked kind of 2 that are more kind of like summery, right? But anyways, I just wanted to talk about that, and I'm going to bring the camera back up at my face because I have this whole pile of stuff in my lap now on my table. So thanks so much for joining me. Let me know if you have questions or need help placing an order or coming up with, you know, if you want something for free and want to know, need recommendations or anything like that. And BOGO will open on Friday at noon, and I'll put the link to the group below, and it will go out to my mailing list as well at noon. And some of you asked for the list. I can send you the list via email. It's actually not 100% finalized yet, so I am working on to finalize that. So have a wonderful week. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you next week at 10 a.m. Bye.